In this video, I will show you how to make one of the best light painting tools for under 60 bucks. Thanks everyone for subscribing, and a special thanks for the supporters of the channel. I released a new version of the best 3D printed caps. If you didn't watch it, please consider to watch the video in the description below. Also, consider to like, share and subscribe to support the channel. Stay until the end of the video to hear about the next projects and comment below which one would you want to be the next one. If you are into light painting, maybe you have heard about Magilight or the Pixelstick, a pair of great tools. But these tools are a little bit pricey. If you are a beginner photographer and you wanna try light painting, those may go out of your budget. So let's get started with our solution. We will turn these WS2812D LED strips or NeoPixel strips and convert them into a great tool for light painting and video effects. We will use an MPF battery and a battery plate, this 3D printed box and a DC to DC converter to convert the 7.2 volts of the battery to 5 volts. All these power parts are optional, but probably you already have these ones. Instead, you can use a smartphone power bank, can deliver 2.5 amps at least. Link to all the parts in the description below. Some DC jacks for the cables, some jumpers to connect the parts, this 3 buttons module, and the brain module is an ESP32 or ESP8266 board. First, we will remove the pins of the 3-button module with a soldering iron and pliers. But if you are new to soldering, just cut the pins as short as possible. Then solder half of the jumper wires and solder the cables using soldering paste. If you are new to soldering paste or flux is really useful to get a good solder joint. Then I will use the other half of the jumper wires, a female DC cable, a 3-pin connector and a 33 ohm resistor. I will solder the yellow cable to one end of the resistor and the orange cable to the other end. Then I will solder the red wires together for positive and the dark wires for negative. You can use ring-in tubes to protect the cables or just use electrical tape. Then we install the buttons module on the lid of the controller box using M3 screws and pass through the cables. You can use hot glue to secure the cables. So before assemble all the parts, we need to program the ESP32 or ESP8266. We go to install.WLED.me and connect the board to the computer with a USB cable. We select the COM port of the module and click on connect. We wait for a couple of minutes and we will see the WLED AP Wi-Fi connection. We enter the password WLED1234 and we go to the 4.3.2.1 web page. To enable more buttons, we have to go to the config, security and update, manual auto update, and select the .bin file, all the files in the description below. We wait a couple of minutes and the module will reset itself. We connect again to the WLED AP and we go to the LED preferences and now we can see the 3 buttons. We put the next numbers in the button selections for the ESP8266 and select their types. Then we go to Wi-Fi setup and enter our studio Wi-Fi setup, but I prefer to enter my smartphone hotspot Wi-Fi network, so that way the light stick will connect to my smartphone every time. Now we start the assemble. We put the red wire to the B-in pin and the brown wire to the G or ground pin. Then we connect the orange wire to the D4 pin. Then we put the VCC wire to the 3 volts pin and the ground wire to the other ground pin of the board. And then connect the first button to the D3 pin, the second button to the D1 pin, and the third button to the D7 pin. Then we secure the board with the M3 screw and we close the box with some M3 screws. And our controller is done. Now we will start with the LED strips. I recommend buying the 144 LEDs per meter strip, so it will be better to display images. I will split my aluminum tube because I will use my light stick for video, but you can keep it as a 1 meter stick. And now I will place the LED strips and then I will make small hole next to the LED strips to pass the cables. I made the holes to leave some space for the nut holders. Then I will solder the cables to the pads of the strips. Remember to solder the input cable to the D-in pad and the output cable to the DO pad, and solder the positive and negative cables. Arrange the cables and use some hot glue to secure them. I will sand or file the aluminum tube to use epoxy glue. to place the nut holders and let it dry for 24 hours at least. Now I configure my smartphone hotspot network with the same name and password as before, and the controller will connect automatically. We will remember the IP address to add the controller to the WLED application and enter any name that you want. And now we can use our light stick. We can change the color and the effect. We can select the speed, intensity and brightness of the effect. And please consider to support the channel in my Patreon. You will get extra features for your support. We go to LED preferences and select the number of LEDs in our strip. I was using a 60 LEDs strip, but you will use a 144. Also, deselect crossfade to have a quick transition between effects. We go to time and macros and enter the next configurations. This will save or enable the functions of our buttons, and we click on save. And we go to favorites, also known as macros, to enter the next configurations. %T equals 2 for the first preset. %PL equals 6 for the second preset. %PL equals 7 for the third preset. %PS equals 6 for the fourth preset. And %PS equals 7 for the fifth preset. And now we can create an example effect for the first memory space. That will be preset number 6. The example effect will be Blink Rainbow. We select the speed and the brightness and save it for the 6th preset. Then we create the second example that will be Chase and save it for the 7th preset. Now we can control our LED strips. With the first button, we turn on and off the strip. With the second button, we load our first example, and with the third button, we load our second example. This way, we can create more interesting line painting patterns. If we select a new color or effect like this solid orange light, we save it as preset number 8, and we create another solid teal light, and we save it as preset 9. We can select the preset 8 of our orange light and press the second button for 3 seconds. This will override our first example preset. The third button still loads our second example. We select preset number 9, that is our teal light, and we press the third button for 3 seconds. This will override our second example for our teal preset. This way you can load every preset you create to a button. Let's do it again. We select an effect fire flicker, we choose the speed and intensity, and we save it as preset number 10. We select the preset number 10 and we press the third button for 3 seconds. And now the fire effect is assigned to the third button. Another great feature of WLED is that you can create segments for your strips. I will create the first segment from 0 to 30 and the second segment from 30 to 60. We select the segment 0 and assign an effect. Then we select the segment 1 and assign another effect. And we will save this preset as ambulance. As you can see, it's an effect of an ambulance light. As you can see, the possibilities of effects are infinite. To assemble the light stick, you only need to screw the nut to the controller and connect the battery with the DC to DC converter, or use a simple power bank. And I mentioned that this light stick can replace the Magilight and the Pixelstick. This video is already too long to show the light stick fully functionalities, so there will be a second part where I will show you how to configure it to display complete images. But if you are curious enough, you can find the tutorial in the description below. I leave you with some great images we made with the help of the Divana Artistic and Cultural Center of India, and a special thanks to the photographer Maribel Chalco for her help. Don't forget to comment the next project you would like to see at the end of this video. Thanks for being until the point of this video. For the next video, I will have been working on an update of the motion controller with a smart vision, a wireless tethering device, or a budget video light with extra effects. Comment below which project would you like to see next. Thanks for watching and consider to subscribe. And remember, if we cannot make them cheaper, we will make them better.